MaJaMa Jams is brought to you by
Nightmare Fuel.
MaJaMa. MaJaMa. MaJaMa.
Is this happening in real time?
Yes.
Are we here right now?
Yes.
Is this? Are we in Brød Sirkus? Welcome back, everyone, to MaJaMa Jams, a show where we discuss other people's work to avoid doing our own. And holy crapola, I think today we have discovered another level for you people.
We're a bunch of helpless jackasses!
Now, ladies and gentlemen, there is a person out there in the ether of this universe whose name is Spectre. Not Michael. That will never be your name to me, okay? And he is one of our best, most engaged, supportive fans ever. And he sends us stuff. He sent us the bloody muscle body builder in hell. Which we previously did in the 50s, and he sends us cool fan art, which you can't see behind me, but it's right there. It's my brother's favorite, and he's a very great, active, engaged member of the MaJamaverse. So we thank you for that. Now, for a while now, he has been pitching me this movie as the weirdest thing in the world, originally titled Bread and Circus, which Matteo is a reference to.
It's from a satire by Juvenale, who said panem and circensem, where it means bread and circus. And in a nutshell, it says you can keep at bay people as long as you give them food and entertainment. Which is how Matteo has kept us here for our entire friendship, so there's a lot of truth to that. So Spectre sent us this, which, by the way, it's going to be anachronistic when this thing actually premieres, but the day we're filming this happens to be Spectre's birthday. So, happy birthday, Spectre! Happy birthday, Spectre! Happy birthday, Spectre! Thank you for the gift.
Spectre said, hey, I think Wild Eye, that bastion of quality, has actually repackaged this, and I could spend an entire episode alone talking about the GD hilarity of this package. Now, Matteo has a close-up, so if you guys can't see it, he'll cut to a little thing. If they repackaged it as Alien Scum, which not only is one of the most hilariously generic retitles since our movie was retitled Shark for that flaming dumpster fire Amazon Prime, which didn't take us as bad CGI sharks for some reason, but they have a bloody, cliche, pretty kick-ass looking xenomorph knockoff. And once you put this thing on and you realize the jarring dissonance between the cover and what it actually is, there's nothing funnier. and the whole argument of the bait and switch swindle of asylum movies, whew man, this is swindling at work. Now, having said all that, another hilarious thing right off the bat, this movie is in Norwegian.
Når det blåser skikkelig her ute, sies det at bølgene slås helt opp hit.
Helt opp hit?
Parts of it are in English.
That's all I can tell you.
So we put it on. It starts talking in English, but then eventually it cuts to Norwegian, and we're like, wait, no subtitles are popping up. Mateo goes to check the subtitle option.
We thought it was artistic at first because there
Yes.
was only sparse dialogue.
Yes.
So we're like, okay, maybe we're not supposed to know what they're saying.
Yeah.
Very much like almost a silent movie. In fact, even with the lack of subtitles, I think 75% of it is just sounds and images.
And we thought it was like the beginning of Easy Rider, where they're speaking in Spanish with no subtitles, but you understand exactly the gist of what is going on.
Creí que no vendrían, hombre. ¿Cómo estás, Caray. Creí que no vendrían.
¿De veras?
Sí, los gabachos siempre dicen que van a venir y puras habas nunca vienen.
Ah, sí, ok. Pues aquí estamos.
Pero ya los claché.
Flawless reference. Watched it last night. Mwah, it was wonderful.
By the way, today's word, as every single week's word, is flawless.
I just like to compliment things in life because people like to pick them apart. People like to pick apart things and just dismantle them until they're not fun.
What are you about to do to this thing?
Kind of like...
Because in this movie there is not the testimonial of the insurance, so it's flawless.
What?
Flow.
Oh, you should have softened that W.
The what?
Flawless. You had to talk like a southern rapper.
Oh, sorry.
Flawless.
Flawless.
That's as close
Flow.
Flow.
I've always said if I ever heard Mateo do an attempt, even if it was a horrible
Any
attempting of it,
Italian?
if he
Oh.
did an American accent, it would blow my mind. Kind of like when Dad shaved his mustache. So,
I'm not gonna shave my accent.
it's very funny. It's very funny. Put that one in your pocket.
He just used it.
So, having said all that, oh no, we didn't even get to the fact that Wild Eye did not, basically Wild Eye in summation did not give us subtitles, as one review on Letterboxd we checked, which I actually have a picture of, we can put it up. No subtitles. And to me, that is the funniest thing I've ever encountered in my life.
It's hilarious.
Combined with the bait and switch title. Can you guys imagine? Now this is interesting. We'll get into it for a certain ilk. But again, that name, that cover, and then you put this on, and they don't even give you the subtitle option. It's frigging hilarious.
Finn fram feltutstyret. Jeg skal I krig.
Maybe we're the aliens.
They should have called it Alien Scam. I wrote that.
Yeah.
So
We should have
Matt
called it Alien Come.
Yeah.
That, yes,
Yeah.
it happens.
Now, this gentleman over here, to my right, is Matteo Molinari, and since I've come to LA, he's kind of served as my movie guru. You guys can't see the other side of these cameras, but it's a massive labyrinth of DVDs. This man has dedicated himself to cinema and cinema alone.
That's not the labyrinth.
We also can't see it.
Yeah.
So
What?
we can't see over there.
Point being, Mateo is Mr. Movies and has, through the course of our friendship, has always guided me to various things I feel like I've never known about. I'm like, wow, Mateo is a gateway to another world of movies. Then I started talking to Spectre, and he seemed like he was a gateway to another world of movies, maybe a whole underground subgenre that this man, I feel like most often, the name Spectre brings up, you wouldn't even know about. I feel like there is nothing more wildly indicative of this than this movie, and I feel like today we have fallen off a ledge of which we previously thought we were at the edge of, maybe with like an Enzo Sorrentino movie, or maybe with like a
Movie.
What's another weird one we did on the show? What's a really... I can't think of any, because this is a new level. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by torturing my brother, who's going to try to walk us through the synopsis, and then I do want to get into it, because again, the subtitles don't matter that much, because it's a lot of weird imagery, or should I say it's kind of...
God, we were desperate for any sort of context.
It's kind of
If I just heard a word, I'd be like, oh my God, okay, we're on Earth, I'm alive.
Matthew, try to break down... We also looked up and we read some synopsi to try and take it in. So we know basically what it was going for. But Matthew, try to break it down for these lovely people. And by these people, I mean Spectre and Paulo, and Mom, and maybe one other person.
Mom has already turned it off.
Conrad and Josh.
I don't even know how much of this you can show.
Our 5-person audience.
I don't know either.
Break down for the people.
It's going to be a very short episode.
Break down for the people the synopsis of Bread and Circus, Nere, Alien Scum.
Wait.
Good. So,
Here come the judge. Here come the judge. Here come the judge. Here come the judge.
We now return to
MaJaMa.
The Earth has legs and gives birth.
I'm sorry.
I
know, but just the fact that another funny thing is that indicative of my life at this moment, Spectre sends this to me, and he wasn't entirely certain that this was the movie repackaged. He knows I live with my mom, which I don't, but for the purpose of this being funny, I do. And so he's like, hey man, test it out to see if it's the right movie, but don't put it on when your mom's home because the first shot is of an Earth vagina. And I was like, if that doesn't sum up my existence, hey bro, I sent you that weird ass movie. Don't put on the first scene to test it when your mom's home because it's going to be an Earth vag. Also, he said that one time his friends were like, we're not going to let you pick the movies anymore because I don't want to watch something that has a man coming out of the Earth's vagina. So I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I thought those were very funny statements indicative of me and Spectre and our beautiful relationship. Matthew, please, I'm sorry. Earth vagina.
Their Earth vagina has a vagina, and we see it from...
It's my favorite children's book.
We see it from space with legs, and it's pushing out a baby man, and then a monk with a Fantastic Four chain comes up... Backwards. Fantastic Four chain comes up and cuts his umbilical cord with very dull scissors. Takes a few attempts to get through. Then the man gets... Handcuffed and washed, and then dressed because he walks through a curtain, and then gets a briefcase handcuffed to his hand, and I believe he's sent out into the world, and he's following a path where little kids are pointing for him,
At that point, I remember being genuinely with it because I saw the being born by the Earth and being, okay, you got to get right into the suit, you're handcuffed to the briefcase, the kids are pointing this one path. At that point, I really was more with it, like, oh, okay, I can see what it's going, it's making a point. And I dug the kids pointing. No? You're already out of the game?
I guess. I was, for the first 20 seconds, definitely with it. The Earth vagina looked great. I mean, everything else I'm going to say aside, the gore is fantastic.
Yes.
It's awesome. It's not just fun. It's done well. It looks pretty damn legit.
Yeah.
The Earth vagina looks great.
The bookended effects at the beginning and end are actually really kick-ass and very surreal and awesome and artsy, and
even the Earth anus.
Yes.
Yeah, a win for practical effects here.
Yes, a win for us as well.
As a million things have pointed out, compared to Peter Jackson's Bad Taste, which is we watched one together. It was that one and not the other initial one. Was
Dead Alive.
Right. It was Bad Taste we watched. Right.
Yeah.
The sheep. Okay.
Thank you. So then we find an old man shoots the briefcase.
Yeah, and first he shoots the briefcase.
Yeah, and then the cuffs come off, and the guy who was just born finds an old man with a pint of beer.
Because he veers off of the path with the arrows.
Off the path because I guess the briefcase came chained from his handcuff. So then the old man tells him a story about how people. We have a little title card that says, the weird, the healthy, the smart, and the dumb were all thrown into the woods, and then there's some sort of army or government that's keeping them there.
Or kills them if they rebel or...
And yeah, most of the people not living in the woods now are cannibals who are feasting on other people who are also exiled to the woods.
Yeah.
And there's a king with a hooker and a queen in some sort of banquet hall overseeing this process with maybe a nuclear bomb. So then the...
Was it a nuclear bomb or was it an old clear bomb?
Oh. Christ. So then the dude's like, oh, I finished telling you my story, now you can go back. And the guy's like, okay, thanks. And he gets a hat. And then he walks up, and the old man then puts on a monk costume and takes a gun and then forces a girl to go crawl into an anus of the earth. And then she comes out as goat shit.
Yeah.
And then...
All things that we cannot show you.
That checks out.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And then he's like, hey, you got to get down that goat anus now. And the guy's like, no. And he pulls the gun out and shoots the old man between the head and gives him the sign off back at him.
Yeah.
And then we meet up with different military people.
No, he writes the sort of a Ten Commandments or whatever. And...
well, before that, we have a bunch of
random
killings with the pigtail girl masturbating in the truck, and then it was maybe just masturbating as a ploy, as a decoy.
Lure the guy in.
But then it seems like she's killing her own people on top of you can't do who's who.
Yeah.
They're all dressed like the same, or they're all dressed like in casual clothes.
It's never clear. Even if the whole movie would have been in English, it introduces and removes characters without any rhymes or reason.
The same. Yeah, honestly, in the end, I don't. Between the odd nature and the sparsity of dialogue, I don't think the subtitles would have added that much to this.
I would have taken anything.
It's mostly that conversation with the couple, I feel like, and then we just go back to random kills.
Yeah.
Meg og noen kamerater pleier å dra opp hit og rippe en grønn i lina. Det skikkelig kult, særlig når bøgene svære.
There's also a guy who gets shot at or falls in the lake, and he's drinking a beer, and he decides to put the beer up his ass, but then he wanted to finish the beer because it wasn't empty, so he pulls it back out of his ass, drinks it, and then puts it back in his ass.
And pukes.
I thought he got it shoved
out.
No,
he did it himself.
He did it himself?
Yeah, but then
after he got kicked in the ass.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, he's taking a dump in the forest, and some dude walks up and just kicks him in the ball ass.
Yeah.
All right, so then we cut to a couple enjoying wine on the beach.
Warm wine and warm cheese on the beach.
God,
the cheese looks
thick
very...
block, like they're just eating the block, like just taking bites out of it.
One time at Whole Foods, we had out cheese samples, which I thought were really good, and then they sat there for a while because there was a bunch of them. Then Julie, my coworker, was like, oh, cheese has been out a while. They're starting to sweat. And I was like, oh, why'd you put it like that? Oh, cheese starting to sweat.
So I can't do it.
The synopsis or the cheese?
So then this couple's like, hey, let's go make out over on that rock. And they're like, oh my God, look at that cave.
Yes.
And they crawl into the cave and they're like, oh, move these cobwebs out of the way. Look, it's the Ten Commandment plaque. And they're like, oh, this is telling us what we need to do to stop the government king. So then they find this.
Are you saying all this because you read synopsis?
There is the gun.
How do you know all this?
The gun.
What were you watching?
The gun warehouse totally passed.
How do you know it was the Ten Commandments? It's not in English.
I mean,
it's not the Ten Commandments, but clearly
It's his message back to them to say, hey, this is what's wrong. You got to fix this.
This is what's wrong.
They use that. So they gear up. They get a bunch of weapons and swords and guns and a Gatling gun that he straps on his chest. And then there's a gun on top of the car, but they split up somehow.
Yeah.
So he starts going on a rampage.
In a hospital?
Yeah, hospital, Castle Hospital?
Yeah.
He also looks like Corey Feldman in a lot of the close-ups.
I'm sorry?
He looks like Corey Feldman in a lot of the close-ups.
He looks like a mixture between Corey Feldman and Lord Michaels.
Okay. So he goes and just starts murdering people. She goes and...
Find a blonde lady and they...
Starts having a lesbian affair.
Start frolicking.
And they pass a lei to each other. And then the old man king gets in a helicopter and gets dropped off in the forest. And then gets cut in half by the guy's samurai sword.
That was cool.
and then we think it's gonna end, but we.
Oh
see
no,
that-
the castle blows up.
Oh yeah,
because
the
he
old
is,
man has some sort of
a
control panel
detonator,
with
yes,
all these different wingding little symbols on his pad, and he bangs it against the side, and then the princess is like, "Oh my God, it's about to explode," and then it explodes. And then finally, at an hour and 7 minutes, we get our alien Scum, who delivers alien cum into the Earth's vagina.
In one of the best scenes in movie history.
Beth.
God, why does it keep happening?
Maybe you're turning gay.
Maybe.
Spend a lot of time around me.
Turning? What?
He looks like he has balls as his teeth or lips.
Yes, it's very weird.
And then he gives birth to the same guy from the beginning.
We don't know that.
He's a white guy.
Looks suspiciously like him. This time, though, he is happy.
Yes.
He beat the
Just like-
system.
Yeah.
Is it reincarnated though? How did he die? What?
We're done. Now I want to ask, what'd you think?
What do you?
I understand, and most reviews say it's it's disjointed and it can be hard to sit there, but there is a lot of art in it. Like you said, the practical effects and the berserk creativity.
There's a lot of art.
I was very taken aback. Not taken aback. I think the opening vagina
I bet
scenes
someone took your back out.
are a very good example of practical effects, and I like.
It's great. It looks like it's really growing out of the earth.
Yes.
Because
And the
however
going
they-
in or coming out and going into it. Both that-
especially when the girl goes into
Yeah.
the earth anus. It's really effectively done. It doesn't look like they dug a hole and tried to patch it up. It looks like they actually
Like she's going into
she's
the.
going to the
Yeah.
the Earth's crust. Having said that, I think subtitles would have helped. God, we were looking for any sort of hope, and Mateo's like, okay, let me try it, and the subtitles, none pops up.
Language. None. Just whatever you're listening to now.
Vet du ikke at du skal ringe på?
Ingenting i dette universet har utnevnt deg til noe jeg må bevise noe for!
Mateo?
Here comes the judge. Here comes the judge. Here comes the judge. Here comes the judge. Judge.
We now return to
MaJaMa.
This is two movies in one because the first one and the last one of the director, I think that his name is Martin Locke or
that's
Locke. I don't know exactly the pronunciation. Forgive me.
Okay, feels right.
Loki.
Or Loki.
I have to get off this planet.
Then he found a career.
It's okay, we got it.
Yes. It's one of those movies.
Don't ask us this question. What do you expect us to say?
I'm very.
What do you think of it? What
What
do you think of
I'm
it?
very interested to hear what he says, and you're stepping all over him. Let him finish.
The Earth has legs and gives birth. I'm sorry. I
know, but just the fact that
it's one of those movies that you need to be in the right state of mind to watch. It's not definitely. It's not a movie that you say, "Oh, hey guys, let's put it together while we're talking," because it's really way too weird.
I feel like we're constantly sober here, just completely, utterly sober all the time.
like we should be messed up,
Yes.
right? It's his fault.
You go
Yeah.
first.
He looks down on it, so it feels weird to do it around him. Like if you're having sex around mom and dad.
Well,
Okay.
You've done that?
no, there's you. I don't.
Have
Why don't
sex.
you show up drunk? I mean,
Be drunk.
Come out of the
Womb.
room where you live drunk.
Oh. Okay.
Have a beer.
So it's a very, very, very weird exercise, and I think it was a series of ideas strung up with a very strange plot that it probably was incredibly clear in the mind of the director and writer and producer and the special effect technician and whatever. He's done a bunch of he has a lot of hats in this movie, but not everything came to fruition as a cohesive story.
We all watched Saint Bernard together, which I forget because sometimes I get stuck inside my own head. But
I just like the chickens.
Thought we all liked. You didn't like it?
I just like the chickens parachuting.
The parachuting chickens are very funny.
I thought we all respected the vision.
I mean,
and I feel like, I don't know if it was a budgetary thing, but I really was, like I said, the bookends of the Earth genital stuff. There's a genuine competency to the practical effects, and there's a genuine weirdness, which guys in a field shooting each other does not translate the same way something like the final penis insertion scene or the crawling through the anus does. I'm gonna tell Mom
Richard
to not
Roper.
tell Mom to not watch this one, which cuts our audience in half.
Oh my Christ.
So I feel like if he had done that throughout, it would have been a Saint Bernard, if you will, which wouldn't be a bad one to do on the show. I remember being genuinely impressed by the vision.
More dicks flopping?
Of Saint, yeah.
There was, there was a lot of ass.
Just more.
Yes.
Like
a
you said,
disturbing amount.
Her going into the Earth anus and the fluidity of it, they clearly had to carve out some hole in the ground, and it's actually a pretty flawless effect for what it is.
Yeah.
That almost stands out as like that's how Hollywood would do it, because at least in that moment, other than the
Listen, give me subtitles, give the army, whatever you want to call them, uniforms.
Yes.
Make them look like knights, make them look like army men, make them look whatever, just matching, so I know who the hell is who, because everyone's just wearing t-shirts and jeans. The freaking king pulls off his robe and he's wearing jeans and a t-shirt.
It's like the mob boss with the peach tea at the beginning of Hand of Fire.
Just give me that so there's a little bit more of that line of demarcation between the two.
Yes.
I can get the story easier about the oppressor and the oppressed. We jump ahead in time to the couple on the beach having the picnic, and then they go into full-on save the earth by any means necessary mode.
Here's a question I thought of, with a broader question based on this, because I feel like releasing bad CGI sharks has accumulated a world of indie movie people, on social media and stuff, and I feel like a lot of these people really enjoy truly low budget, lo-fi stuff, or a lot of shot on video stuff, and I feel like with MaJaMa, we don't often go into that, cross that line. Like I said, Mateo is a whole movie guru, but I think from what I've learned from Spectre, I'm pretty sure most of the things he brings up would not overlap with you, where you'd be like, I have no idea. You had no idea about this, right? Until you
Yeah.
So what I find so interesting is that there are levels, and Spectre seems to me to be a fascinating source of all of this really underground stuff that Mateo's even brought up that we haven't. So it brings me to the question, if a lot of fans seem to go to places that maybe we wouldn't, or maybe for as much as we think of ourselves weirdos or cinephiles or obsessive nerds, that sometimes if it has a certain look that's too low grade, we kind of get turned off in a perhaps uncharacteristic way to how much we love weird art in movies and the rest of it. That makes sense? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know necessarily. I think that this one mostly is the fact that, of course, you cannot grasp every single aspect of movies worldwide. There are, I even remember finding a German comedian, it looks like an oxymoron, but he was doing stories like Benny Hill. But German. So it was very weird. And I'm sure you'd never heard about it. Dieter Vollenweider, I think it was the name. So this kind of stuff is so niche that either you just do a deep dive, but it's almost impossible to really find everything, or somebody, like in our case, somebody say, hey, you guys, you know that there is this movie from Norway that is this whack, 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 and bizarre. So you stumble across this. Because
why do you do that to us?
He did say you probably weren't going to like it, you particularly.
But for instance, the movie is being compared to Bad Taste. True.
Eat lid, sucker!
But Bad Taste had a story and characters that were recognizable. And whenever they were not recognizable, it was just like the stormtroopers. They were just like zombies-ish or whatever they are, alien creature, disposable or whatever. There was not. But the four main protagonists, the boys, I think, are extremely well crafted, and you know exactly who they are. So even if you don't understand the language, you get the story, what they're doing. Same thing to San Bernard. It went through, it definitely is not improvised. This one, I had the feeling that he had some stuff. There was the first scene when the guy is killed with a machete, which is stolen from Dawn of the Dead, the original, the George Romero one.
Very effective shot.
Yes.
It goes
yes,
right
yes.
in.
And I think that it was almost shot by shot, redone exactly as it is.
Say goodbye, Creed.
So I think that he was trying to do some very good props in terms of special makeup and everything. And he was trying to do those scenes, and then they're strung up together, whatever. Because I'm pretty sure that even with the subtitles or with the translation, it wouldn't have been that clear.
I mean, at least I think we would have the couple at the end being like, hey, this says so-and-so and so-and-so. We need to do so-and-so to stop so-and-so from so-and-so.
But that's also weird because that sort of Ten Commandments or whatever it is, that stone, is not in a language that we understand. So how do they understand it?
It looks like the wingdings, like you said, on the dudes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yet they are speaking.
Well, she's rubbing it.
Oh, okay. That's how you learn. Yeah, that's how I learn English.
Yeah.
I rub the dictionary.
That's all you gotta do.
Yes.
Sleep on it every night.
Yeah.
I know to you I may look old. Hope this statement ain't too bold, but here comes the judge. 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 Here comes.
We now return to
MaJaMa.
It makes me think of something like Skinamarink, because it's an interesting question. We're definitely the people that will go to bat for something being art, but I would get angry if someone...
Is this art?
I would get angry if someone discredited Skinamarink, genuinely so. And yet, in the theater, I remember wanting to check my damn phone towards the end of it.
I wanted to peel my skin off and eat it.
So this is what I'm saying, is that, but would you go to bat for it?
Hell yeah.
Your Skinamarink?
So that is what the question with this is there's an interesting line of art where how much are we going to allow in the name of art? And Skinamarink, and I think with the way people, I've checked a couple...
This has to be stopped. How much are we going to allow?
A good amount of reviews on Letterboxd from quickly perusing it seemed to get it, and whether they were, doing an ironic, like, oh, this is the best thing ever or not. I think people saw the artistic oomph. But Skinamarink being, like I said, such an interesting example of where I would hate if someone was like, this is garbage, there's nothing to it, why would you release this pretentious crap? I would be genuinely mad and defend it. And yeah, I'd be lying, like I said, if I didn't.
I think Skinamarink is an experience film. The type of...
Easy Rider. Not exactly the same, but...
Well, I think it's more so the fact of...
A vibe.
A vibe, and also I think to make Skinamarink truly effective at peak performance is to be in a house alone by yourself in the dark watching it, and you're just going to creep yourself out.
Yeah.
Because it is like a lucid dream where you're kind of not sure what... And that's what I think what the director said, is kind of supposed to be a dream. And you're just kind of crawling through, not sure what's happening, and nothing really makes sense.
Dude, it should be said that, I may have said on the show before, but it stands out in my lifetime as one of the creepiest things. I was in the hallway at AMC, and I guess the trailers were on in one theater, and the door was open, and I just hear, we're in this house. We're in this house. And I started walking towards it. I was like, what the hell is that? It seems so creepy.
In this house.
Trailer made my skin crawl. I just walked into this theater, and I was like, what?
Skinamarink.
Number 2. It was terrifying.
Be a third one? Who knows?
So,
and again, I don't know personally because I am ignorant and of limited mental capacities, but I don't know if Skinamarink is art or is just like a movie. However, as I told you when we step out of the theaters, much like Skinamarink, we're going to remember this movie more than a lot of other movies that we've watched.
Wild Wild West?
No.
For instance.
You know what? Great example, because yes, Wild Wild West will dissipate into just, oh, that was some studio product.
It takes a lot of effort to say it too.
Wild Wild West.
Yes. If it dissipates, it becomes first Wild West.
Yeah.
Then just a West.
WWW.
Then
3 dubs. Dubs to the third power.
Yes.
What?
That's all I can tell you.
But that's a very good point, is that you won't forget this. So that's why I say I think the interesting question is...
You will regret this, though.
You will, Smith, regret this.
That was the tagline.
Yes.
Damn, imagine if someone actually put that out. No. So that's what I'm talking about, the line of art. Because there's certain people who just, they're like, art, what are we, fags? You know, and they just won't even go for it.
Reach a roper.
So, Matteo, do you feel like, do you understand?
Man, leave him alone.
Roughly,
he's been through enough.
The quote the bread and circus
No.
quote you did of how it ties
No.
into?
Dude, I swear to God, you said when you were telling me you were saying bred in circus. Like
Bred in circus?
No, I've been bred in circus. I've been brought up in the circus.
We're eating Andy. Did you at least fry him?
The only thing is that
It's a breaded circus.
Brother Circus has become almost not exactly a synonym, but a way to indicate a democracy that is sliding towards demagogy. So that's probably why.
Sliding towards what?
It's a kind of fruit snack.
Demagogy?
A demagogic state.
You said magagy.
Demagogy.
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 Demagogy. Define demagogue.
Talking about the Demogorgon.
It's half of a full gog.
That's very good, Mr. Lau.
Demagogic system is a system where you kind of like try to sell feelings more than actual proposition. So whenever somebody is talking in general, and we'll have less taxes.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yes, but it neglects to say how.
I mean, they'll figure it out, though.
Yeah, eventually, yes.
Give them your vote, and once elected, they'll figure it out.
Yes, yes. They seem all very level-headed people.
No.
So probably is that. This movie takes place in a monarchy-ish, I think, with an army of 3 people, 2 people.
Why did he go to that hospital to kill everyone? I mean, it looks like a medical hospital. I mean, an army hospital from MASH. Why was the Jeep have inscribed Apocalypse Now in that
Right.
cool Apocalypse
Oh yeah,
Now
we didn't bring that
font?
up in the actual font of the movie. Like it's a promotional thing for Red Bull.
Wait, and why'd that girl take that guy down to the basement and then pulled his...
Dick off? No, f***ed him. I'm sorry. Screwed him.
And then kills him.
Yeah, neither of them even came.
No.
And then she just walks out.
And he was wearing panties.
Why was he wearing lace panties?
There are so many questions.
I just think it's the funniest thing ever that Wild Eye put this out without subtitles.
Jeg håper ikke å sende oss denne veien. Jeg gidder ikke å dreve noen flere da.
Du har bare med å gjøre det du får beskjed om.
Bitch.
Wild Eye is freaking terrible. Why would you do this, man? Can you imagine the
Look at that cover!
Imagine the
Look
poor
at that cover!
chap sees a xenomorph and just wants a fun, like, xenomorph knockoff?
Dude, I mean, we've seen misleading covers all the time. But this is just like... It's Independence Day alien mixed with the alien.
Like, if you're going to put it on the back, put it on the front, people will at least know. This is what I'm saying, is that, okay, granted, again, you are trying to swindle people, but it's like, if you look at the wide release cover of Bad CGI Sharks, then like that one asshole on Twitter, you're gonna be like, that would have been cool to see a shark eating a highway. Too bad that wasn't in the movie. If you see the Blu-ray cover with us standing around, me with that goofy look and Mateo doing the Princess Leia, you're like, oh, this is gonna be a goofball.
No thing.
A goofball thing. So I understand the answer is they don't care. They do want to bait and switch you to make money. But don't you think that on the cover would be like, oh, it's a dude coming out of a weird vagina. I'm clearly in for something, as opposed to alien scum with a bootleg xenomorph. Like, why do they do this? Why does Wild Eye exist? Why does this?
I mean, like they said, I'm okay to. We've seen it before, but this is just so blatant. Like the alien isn't there for 1 minute.
Yeah. He looks pretty cool in the
blowing his load inside the Earth, and then he flies off again.
Yeah.
And this dude's cockpit is like that.
Cockpit.
And it's like a flat room. There's a telephone.
Yeah.
And then on the side of the wall. And then again, his control.
Why was he inseminating the Earth to make the Savior come back?
Yeah, that's why he was inseminating the Earth to make the Savior come back.
Probably.
Mr. Loke, just a couple script notes. At the end, was he inseminating the Earth to? You know what? I'll just.
The thing that it makes me, I cannot fathom what happened when the classic situation of grandma wants to do a gift to his niece or
he likes
nephew.
alien movies.
Because this is really, it's...
Plus, if you only see this cover, like you're flipping through Tubi, and you see this and you read the description,
Yeah.
But if you just see that cover and you have nothing to go off of, like, okay.
The cover for Bread and Circus at least
It's
is
really, it's the
weird.
Fantasy Sharks.
I mean, granted, it puts front and center the alien, which is you see him at the end, as you said, and that's it. But at least
I mean, it was probably like, yeah, but it's probably like, hey, let's watch the film. Oh, there's an alien at the end. Alien Scum. Make a joke about cum.
Yeah, why
and
why was
that
name?
Why was the alien the one to inseminate
I don't know. That's
Earth?
also.
Plus, the Earth's vagina looks pretty small.
I do really love the Earth with the leg shot. I feel like it almost has an old school like vulgar Nickelodeon feel to it.
Yeah.
I think that there is a cheapness to the field shots that unfortunately compose most of the movie that something like the Earth leg shot is able to gloss over with its lo-fi style. That's why I feel like I like having watched this an experience, but the practical effects and the weirdness shines through so much that I wish he would have been able to kind of especially being, 70-something minutes, you can kind of rapid fire it. It's just like a phantasmagoric fever dream. So I do think something like the Earth is like perverted old school early 90s Nick, and then when you see the endless field shooting shots, it's like a friggin' whatever $5 dude ego exploitation black tea movie, whatever. So I do wish that we would have had a little bit more emphasis. Again, might be a budgetary issue. I know there's probably people who watch Sharks like, why didn't you put in more of the shark stuff or more of that? But had you hammered home that type of imagery throughout, I think even with the subtitle snafu, I would have sung its praises more. I do like the way Mateo put it, and especially the fact that in an umpteenth amount of episodes since we have brought up Skinamarink, to your point. What do you guys, going back to the question, where do you guys think the line is, or maybe, there isn't one, it's very subjective and personal, but maybe your own personal take on, like, where do you draw the line of, like, this is art, but then it becomes almost too alienating and it's like, dude, F off.
We now return to
MaJaMa.
Where do you draw the line of, like, this is art, but then it becomes almost too alienating and it's like, dude, F off?
60-40?
60 real, 40 art, or other?
No, 60 art, 40 real movie or traditional storytelling.
What do you think is the most alienating thing that you actually love? Like something that is truly off-putting, but you personally are like, no, I'm with it.
Sex with other men.
Bang, boom, bam.
That wasn't supposed to be a joke.
Not going to top that. That's funny because it's also resonant.
Why is it resonant?
People still don't like gays.
Present company excluded? You mean what is a movie or thing I like would be alienating to others?
Yeah, and I guess it seems, guess you can't say sick because you're almost doing the old ironic enjoyment.
Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. And all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again.
Although, I always wondered, can enjoyment be ironic, or if you found enjoyment, isn't that just enjoyment? Like, oh, I'm watching S.I.K because it's bad, so that's an ironic enjoyment. But if we are cackling as friends on the couch with some snacks, how is that ironic enjoyment and not just enjoyment? Conrad's going to have something to say about that when he sees this. I don't think he thinks there can be ironic enjoyment if I remember our discussion on it. But Like, can we really separate it? If you end up enjoying yourself, can it be ironic enjoyment?
I'm not enjoying myself in any
What do you
capacity.
think?
Yes.
It can be ironic? Or it translates to base level enjoyment if you end up having a good time?
If you have a good time, it's still entertaining and it's enjoyment. And
that was kind of what I thought.
Regardless.
Yeah.
A movie like this, I don't think you can truly enjoy it. It's too bizarre, too weird, too strange. You can watch it to say at least, yes, I did see it, and I confirm is one of the most weird
You
things.
get your T-shirts, so you survived.
Yes, you survived. Alien Scum, aka Bread and Circus. I don't know if there is actually an enjoyment. It's.
Yes, I agree.
Well, this is what I was saying about I've found this interesting world where, and I feel like it's a lot of the people that have entered the radius because of the bad CGI sharks, is that there are a lot of people that
it's the worst thing we ever did for ourselves.
Expose
ourselves like that.
Enjoy very low grade things in a way that I think the three of us kind of, unless it's like a Clerks where it's harnessed and almost part of the strength becomes the lo-fi and you use it to actually tell
I mean,
this.
it can't be so.
I'm not even saying that about this specifically. I've just been fascinated that I feel, for instance, people apparently there are many people who love every shark movie, and I think genuinely, like, no, give me all the bad ones. And with us, it was kind of fun to watch them goofy, but then eventually I'm like, I don't like these. Like, that's what I learned. I genuinely hate a ton of the shark movies. I think that they're not good in any way, but I've learned there's a lot of people who are like, literally any bad one, I love it. I want to watch it. I'm actually going to enjoy that. And that's what I think I've kind of learned from observing the underground world we've been shoved into, which fascinates me because I feel all of us, and again, Matteo, I think of Greg Araki, who really pushes the envelope, but he's all with it. You... maybe some of the weird indies, me, like the Freddy Got Fingered. We do have those alienating things we genuinely love and go to bat for, but I do, correct me if I'm wrong, I think MaJaMa kind of has a line of grime and low budget where we're kind of like, ends up feeling not like a movie, which almost might be uncharacteristic to certain other aspects of us.
Yeah, like this one, for instance, it pushes the extreme both on the gore and on the disgust, if you will. I mean, there's a lot of fecal matter, and which in general for many movies is a kind of like a turn off.
I really did like the anus tunnel, very double dairy,
and
very double dairy.
The poop looks pretty damn good.
The goat poop.
The goat poop, and when he pulls a bottle out of his ass, it looks like
all the
he just
effects
pulled
are
a
really
bottle
good
out of his ass.
That's what I'm saying. I almost wish you had found a way to cut out the endless field shots, because there's something about a friggin' field and fake shooting where it's like, dude, what are we watching, a student film? But everything from the bottle pulling out to the climbing into the vagina to the anus to the alien
It also comes
insertion.
down to what woods you're using. You know, if you get really cinematic woods, I think you can get away with it. People lost in the woods for an entire film.
Yes.
If you're choosing like fields and like a park, it kind of just comes down to your scenery. But I think something like this, I mean, granted, we didn't have words. Something like this, I just need a little bit more context.
Yes.
A little bit of story and a little bit of dialogue.
Yeah, because eventually it becomes just like a catalog of special effects, which surprisingly, apparently, didn't bring anything, because this is the only credit that the director has.
It's great.
And he has, for almost a one-man band show, it's amazing.
Cutting through the finger.
The slicing through the torso, and it just slides right off, and it's got that little like deli meat look to it.
Yeah, even when they're eating the hands and feet, it looks really good.
Yeah.
It's interesting because it's so much, again, all those field shots, a lot of field shots. But yeah, all the practical effects are very on point. And I think the Earth genitals, as you said, is something that will really stick with me. So. I don't know. I just find it interesting of a larger question of at what level people can put up the... Okay, art, you get it, yeah, art. What about
I think the art house films, they're worst part is just getting caught in not obscurity, but just this. You're trying to say something without saying it, and I don't know what I'm trying to say.
But yes, I think overall a great jams, right? And I think we're happy. Like we said, we got the T-shirt. And one thing we all can agree on.
We're experiencing it. We can't see it.
Let's express our.
Yeah. One thing we can all agree on is Spectre is awesome. We thank you for being an engaged viewer, and we love you, brother. That really means a lot to us. You feeding stuff into the show to get it, and always watching and commenting on it.
We're gonna go on a 4th segment.
Okay.
No, we are. In 16 minutes.
Well, let's express our feelings by throwing pieces of paper, which I don't think will take 2 minutes.
We have half a minute.
And stare awkwardly at the camera. Let's now express our feelings by throwing pieces of paper for this weird little journey. We're going to start with Matthew. It's tough. It's tough. I admit when I said let's go through it quickly, I was like, wait, but I don't know how to vote.
I'm going to say 2.5, which I know is surprisingly
it's
kind of high.
No, I didn't feel like that.
But effects were great. Like I said, just give me a little bit more clear lines of what I'm watching, and I probably would have enjoyed it a lot more. So 2.5. You're up next, idiot.
I am a little verklempt, but I think I'm going to echo Matthew's. Rip that. 2.5 because it kind of leaves the brain perplexed, but those effects and the weirdness they represented were pretty gosh darn good, and I think had you done a full-on orgy of the penis-type imagery, I would have been kind of bowed down to it in a Skinamarink way. Still give it some credit for the chutzpah of it. How do you think he's going to vote?
He's going to vote with paper.
I saw that. 3.
Ah! Because of things you said already.
Yeah.
Because of things he said already.
I don't like to repeat myself.
I heard them too.
I do. And then everyone always yells at me. It's really friggin' scary, man.
You know the worst thing you do? You make your inner thoughts everyone else's problem by saying them out loud, or even repeating things to get out of your head so they're not.
MaJaMa.
Spectre, thank you once again for contributing to the show in this in the weirdness here. And also, I know you'll be watching this when it's not the thing, and I already told you this online earlier, but happy birthday. And everybody go follow Spectre on Twitter, SpectreM91. He's a great guy and an obsessive movie fan. You might learn something about a movie like Brød Sirkus. From all of us here on our MaJaMa couch, thank you for spending such time as we delve into the weirdness of this Earth vagina that is our paper-filled set. And we'll be back next week with an all-new jams, which hopefully will feature a movie that costs more than $5.
Hey.
Just kidding.
Hey.
Just kidding. I'm sorry. It's a stereotypical joke. But
That probably costs a lot.
Yeah.
Think about all the.
Okay, hold on. Let's cut that out. And come back next week when we'll feature another movie that's an awesome display of low-budget creativity like this one is.
Okay.
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 More.
MaJaMa.
Dude, I swear to God, you said when you were telling me you were saying Brød Sirkus. Like
Brød Sirkus?
No, I've been bred in circus. I've been brought up in the circus.